Are there things in your business that are worse off for having you involved in them? How can you take your hands off those things? Now, maybe the answer is no. If that's the case, watch this space, because as you grow, that answer will change. Hey you, I'm Mark, husband of one, father of three, maker of puns, climber of trees, grower of businesses, pitcher of tents, occasional cutter of cheese, word nerd, and lover of families. Oh no. Oh no, not yet. No. Oh, here he comes. Where's my oar? Showed that Kraken who's boss. At least until like 2 p.m. this afternoon. I think I'll be due for another attack by then. Let's jump into it. Hey, welcome to all of you bandits and chilies. This episode is called You Teach People How to Treat You, and Your PTY LTD is the same. So this is based on a Tony Gaskins quote, which is, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. It's pretty easy to see how this applies, as the quote is intended, with regards to interpersonal relationships. But your business can be a proprietary limited entity. It's its own legal entity, a person, for all intents and purposes in the context of the law. PTY LTD in Australia, or in the States, I believe they call this an LLC. Now, whether that's the case for your business or not in terms of its legal structure, practically, it can take on its own personhood. Unfortunately, that personhood tends to be a bit Kraken-shaped at times. So, expanding on the Kraken concept, in the Whack the Kraken episode, I described how the Kraken, representing your business, is fueled by whatever it is that you lack. If you claim territory from the Kraken, its realm becomes smaller. If you are pessimistic, it will be very optimistic. If you are slow to implement changes, it will create problems for you quickly, etc., etc. So, it's easy to see that when we anthropomorphize your business as a Kraken, we can also apply this quote to it and realize that you are teaching your business how to treat you. This can be a really helpful reframe because perhaps there is no one else in your life that you allow to treat you the way that your business treats you. Maybe your business steals time and bandwidth from you whilst filling you with stress and emotional turbulence that then impacts your family. If this was a random friend from high school that you just started catching up with again for drinks at the pub, you probably wouldn't allow Kevin to just disrupt your life like that. You would see his negative influence for what it is. But your business is an extension of you, and it's not literally a person, so sometimes the negative influence that it can exert on your life can go undetected or unaddressed. Let's break down the 3 elements of this quote. You teach people, or in this case your business, how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. Firstly, by what you allow. This is a sneaky one because it can be so passive that you don't even realize that it was a choice, or perhaps even that you had a choice. There's a saying with regards to employees that they do not do what is expected, instead they do what is inspected. So in order to maintain standards within your business, you need to inspect things, set up quality controls and feedback loops so that you don't end up passively allowing things that are actually damaging to your business or to your relationship with the business. What can you do to identify these things that you are passively allowing? Write out a list of the things in your business that cause you stress. Don't worry if at first it isn't specific, just get it written down. For example, you might start with, I feel stressed every time my message tone sounds. Then, after thinking about that a little more, you might realize that the messages that you are specifically stressed about receiving are from one particular employee, one specific customer, or they're about one specific subject. You then realize that that one area of stress has now infected all other benign messages because each message you receive, you're worried that it's one of those messages. Perhaps this is a really simple fix. Some simple boundary setting, empowering other people to make decisions or solve problems without your input, or even just addressing one crucial issue so that you can move on. After you've written down any areas of your business that are causing you stress, then write down anything you can think of which you should not be doing. For example, maybe everyone on the team knows about the process for requesting leave, but they don't follow it. Yet, you provide them a workaround and approve their leave anyway. Well, guess what? Now that is the leave approval system because they ask for leave that way and they get it. That's how it works around here. So if you actually care and you actually want to see a change, then you need to remind them of the process and put the onus back on them to follow that process. Okay, second area, what you stop. So this can be taken two ways. You could view it as putting a stop to something, basically the opposite of allowing it. And I think that that's how this is intended to be understood in the context of the quote. But that's kind of boring because then we've essentially already discussed it on the subject of what you allow. Just don't do that. Done. Topic over. But the other way that this could be understood would be by what you stop in terms of getting in the way or being a bottleneck. For example, perhaps you have processes or approvals that have to go through you, and perhaps sometimes they don't. They just get to you and then they stop and they never resurface again, never to see the light of day. You're busy and there's a lot going on, so fair enough. But it's good to review and assess what things you can remove yourself from within the business. Are there things in your business that are worse off for having you involved in them? How can you take your hands off those things? Now, maybe the answer is no. If that's the case, watch this space, because as you grow, that answer will change. Reassess in 6 months' time and see what you are now getting in the way of. Lastly, by what you reinforce. I really like this one because unlike allow, reinforce is quite active. However, like allow, reinforce could be a positive or negative. One key area that springs to mind as an easy mistake to make, and I've done this, is to be too focused on when someone on your team does something wrong and not focused enough on when they are doing something right. By all means, address it when something is wrong, but aim to deposit a wealth of positive reinforcements for all of the things that they are getting right on a regular basis. Commend your team for really specific things and let them know how it impacts the business and why you specifically appreciate this thing personally. Then, when you have to correct them for something that they did wrong, you are just following the preset pattern of feedback, but this time it's for something that they need to fix, not something that they need to just keep doing. Reinforcement of the good, the bad, and the ugly within your business will really impact the culture of your business and how it feels for your team to work for you and to work together with each other. If they never feel appreciated and the standards are not consistently or universally applied, then they won't take their job seriously because you don't seem to take their job seriously. They won't adhere to the standards because they have seen that the official standards are not actually the standards. And why should I put in the extra effort when Harry never does that? And it's not an issue. He's been here longer than I have. On the flip side, if they get regular commendation for doing a great job, and when they slip up, it is noticed and called out, then they know where the lines are, and they can see that this is a fair workplace where everyone is held to the same standards, and also that their job is taken seriously. If they want to keep it, they also need to take it seriously. Think about that for a second. Would you rather have a job that your boss didn't seem to value, he didn't care whether you did the things that you were supposed to or not, or would you rather a job that had specific, high standards that were paid attention to and reinforced along with regular praise for a job well done? When you start to picture the day in and the day out of that former job, it gets pretty depressing pretty quickly. So if you reinforce the wrong things, you will create an environment in which even great employees cannot thrive because they will either leave or stay long enough to lower their standards to gel with the culture that you have unintentionally fostered. So, remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. And this is also true of what you teach your Kraken. Oftentimes, the easy path now, that of least resistance, leads to the hardest path later. So be conscious of the lessons that your Kraken will take away from your treatment of it. Your challenge for today is to identify one thing that you have been allowing, stopping, or reinforcing which needs to change. Even just a tiny little thing. The challenge is not to change it, but just to identify that it needs change. Lastly, I'm not sure if you saw this on the news or not, but Norway has added barcodes to the sides of their warships. It's pretty clever, actually. Now when they come into port, they can Scandinavian. Yeah, look, I was looking for inspiration. I came across that one. I was like, that is a keeper. I told my wife she'd heard that before and wasn't very impressed. But that was the first time I'd heard it. I'm like, no, it's going straight in the podcast. And the fact that it's groan inducing is just all the better. So that's it. Have an awesome day. Make someone else's day awesome. Call or text someone who randomly popped into your head and check how they're doing. Catch ya. Bye.
Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Are you sniffing what I'm stepping in? If you're looking for a really valuable community centered around building your business, being really intentional with your spouse and kids, and if you think you can tolerate my terrible dad jokes, then join Family-Oriented Business Growers. It's awesome. There's self-paced challenges designed to help you solve key pain points within your business in short, intentional sprints. There's awesome people in there doing awesome things who have experience with stuff that can help you, having stood where you stand. You'll benefit from what's in there, we'll benefit from having you in there, you legend you, and best of all, it's totally free and also free of toxic shenanigans because we don't tolerate none of that. The mission of the group is to help 250 family-oriented home service business owners reclaim 5 hours per week for what matters most whilst growing their business this year. So jump in there and get amongst it. Join via warplan.au, that's warplan.au. Oh no. He's early. Warplan.au. Catch you in there. Ah!